Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is AIDS. And we're fortunate to have with us the Executive Director of Nashville Cares, Ms. Sherry Y. Wood. And Ms. Wood, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you. It's really nice to be here with you this morning.
Ms. Wood, what we've tried to do with this show today is to at least look at AIDS from perhaps a different perspective. I think we've had about 7 or 8 shows dealing with AIDS as a topic. And I think that there are some basic things that we'd like to try to get across to people dealing with this as an issue. Why don't you give us some information before we get into AIDS as a topic? Why don't you give us some information about yourself and your background and how you became involved in this battle against AIDS?
I've been with Nashville Cares as the Executive Director for the last 2.5 years. I got involved with HIV in the mid-'80s when I took the volunteer training at Nashville Cares to learn more about the issue. I was a director of a hospice program here in Middle Tennessee and knew that to take care of our clients in the future, we needed to know about HIV. And then I came to Nashville and worked with Middle Tennessee United Way as their community problem solver. And when this position opened up, I had the good fortune of being offered the position, and it's been a wonderful journey since then.
And so Nashville Cares, now what does that stand for?
Nashville Cares, the CARES part of it stands for the Council on AIDS, Education, Resources, and Services. It's an acronym that stands for everything that we do, and we work only with people that are HIV positive and their families, and we provide a lot of education, a lot of resources and services to those people, trying to help their journey be a little easier and try to help educate our community about what HIV really means.
For those persons this morning who might not know any kind of definition in reference to AIDS and persons who might be afflicted with this disease, why don't you give us some information about that, and then we'll talk about certain aspects of CARES, because I'd like to look and examine each of those areas.
Great. AIDS is a virus that is transmitted sexually through blood and body fluids. It's not a virus that's easily transmitted. You're not going to catch it from someone that's sitting across from you that coughs, someone that touches you. It is a virus that you have to engage in a high-risk behavior to become infected. It's a virus that, and a disease that carries a lot of stigma with it, and we're trying to get rid of those stigmas, trying to teach people that this isn't a virus that affects other people. It really affects all of us. And that's a hard message to get across, but I think we're getting there. It's going to affect our brothers and our sisters and our husbands and our wives. It's something that is ours.
I think we've already indicated that there's an increase in the number of cases. Let's talk about some of the cases, the increase in cases. I think some of the most recent information.
Right. What we're seeing is now that the Tennessee Department of Health is keeping records of who is diagnosed as being HIV positive, in addition to those that have full-blown AIDS. We're seeing that the disease really is shifting and the face is really changing here in Tennessee, not just out there in the rest of the country. What we're seeing in the latest statistics is that only 49% of those that are HIV positive are from the gay bisexual community. It's a horrible statistic to see that 53% of those that are infected with HIV, newly diagnosed, are from the African-American population. That's a really disproportionate representation of the African-American community in our state. We're seeing that they're much younger. We're seeing that for the first time 12% are heterosexuals versus 5% of those with full-blown AIDS. So by keeping the records of those that are newly diagnosed with HIV, we're seeing the true shift of this virus to a much younger population, to a much broader population. And that is frightening for us that deal with it. The gay community's really taken care of themselves. They've educated themselves, and they have a good support system. But for our women, for our people, heterosexuals, for people out in the community, they're not going to have that built-in system. So it's going to make the challenge even greater.
Now, you said Nashville Cares, C-A-R-E-S, that each letter represents a service that you do. Let's talk about those services. What does that C stand for in that?
That's the council. It's a group of people coming together to work on an issue. We use a lot of volunteers. We're governed by a board of directors, 21 members that set all our policies and give us guidance. And then we have hundreds of volunteers that come together. So I think the choice of the word council in the beginning was really good because it's a group of people working together on a common issue. One of the big services that we provide at CARES is educational services, trying to prevent the further spread of this disease. The key is prevention, because we don't want any more people to be infected than already are.
Go on.
Education that we do focuses on the general community, shows such as this one this morning, trying to say, please be educated, please know how to protect yourself. We have targeted various communities, recognizing that they are at risk. One of the groups we work with is a gay bisexual community, because that was a population first infected in this country. So that was one of the highest needs in the beginning. We go out and do outreach, distribute condoms, distribute information on safer sex. How do you protect yourself? How do you make sure you protect your loved ones? We also focus on the African American community, in that we know that it's a high-risk community at this point, that people are being infected. And we do that in a lot of different ways with literature that's specific culturally. We go out to places where people are gathering, beauty shops on the corner, grocery stores. We also are trying to work within some of the housing sites, trying to reach a great number of people that, due to their status, their socioeconomic situation, perhaps are using drugs and we're not accessing well. Other places that we go into the churches, trying to make sure that our church communities understand